Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you might be joining from. I am HR Funk, and this is my firing line for Tuesday, May the 6th, 2025. And this is the online firearms show that's completely driven by you, your questions, and your comments. Otherwise, I'd be sitting around probably contemplating something crazy like, I don't know, going into politics or something like that. I have been extremely busy lately. Uh, and this is the first time that I have had a chance to fire up a live stream for quite a while. It seems like a long time since we've gotten together. All of that is due to just a ton of things that I've had going on. Some of you might have noticed that there was not a Wednesday video last week, which is relatively unusual for me to miss a Wednesday or a Saturday. And that was a situation where just I had so many things happening, and I either had to try to rush something just to get it done that would not have been to the level that my videos usually are, or I just had to let that day pass. So I opted to let it pass. And the situation has not been helped along at all by the weather that we've been experiencing here in Northern Ohio. For the last week or so, it's just been cold and rainy and nasty, and not that I'm unable to go out and shoot when it's cold and rain and nasty. I've certainly done so in the past, but it's not conducive to making videos, partly because it's just so dark that I don't get good video quality. Plus, a lot of my equipment is not able to stay out in the weather and be rained on and snowed on and whatever else. So that has been impeding my ability as well. But I do have a lot of things coming up. I've got some cool firearms that are coming in the very near future. In fact, I just got an email a little while ago with one announcing that it's going to be on its way. So that's fantastic. And these are a little off the beaten path. I think a lot of you guys are going to enjoy this. It's going to be outside of a lot of what you're seeing on YouTube and firearms videos these days. So I hope you enjoy it. With speaking of YouTube, that's another issue that I'll get into in a little bit, because they are back to their old tricks again with demonetizing pretty much everything that I upload. And I don't think it's just me. I'm sure they're doing this to everyone. So that there's no rhyme or reason. It just seems like they get into these trends now and again where everything that goes up gets demonetized. That's it. And it will be indistinguishable from something that was monetized previously. So it's not like you can look at it and say, oh, I did hit this here, so I just need to make sure I don't do it in this video in the future, and then I won't have any problems. No, there's no way to figure out what it is that they demonetize, and they absolutely won't tell you. We have 32 people in here, so I want to say hi to everyone. I know the first one in the room was Jeff Tim. Art Grote was not far behind him. Craig Benz. And Katie Cowboy is here. Revolver Man, Disastrous Effect, Al B, Camp David, Kenneth Garrett, Doug Swineford, and that's everyone. Too Slow is here also. And let me make a quick check to see if there's any questions that I need to respond to. Craig Benz shot a qualifier today for IDPA 5x5 qualifier cold, first time ever. It was pretty sad, but something to build from. Well, yeah, at least a shot. You got more accomplished on the range today than I did. I did make it there for a little while. When was that? Yesterday or the day before. It dried out long enough for me to get there and get a couple of things done, but that didn't last long. Al B is from Atlanta checking in. Doug Swineford from Rockwall, Texas. Craig Benz, sunny and 75. Wow, good for you. I wish we had that here. Katie Cowboy ordered the Discovery Opt HD 2-12 by 40 or by 24 SFIR FFP. I don't know what it is with Discovery Optics that they've got these designations that are this long. I wish they would shorten those a little bit. But if you learn to decode them, you can actually figure out more or less what you have for one of their optics. 16.6 ounces and 8.5 inches long. It's very compact. Still haven't mounted on my rifle yet. The illumination is not good though. I noted the illumination with that 1:8 scope of theirs that I reviewed a while ago. It is bright enough for low light conditions, certainly, but if you're out on a really bright sunny day, it could have 2 or 3 more brightness settings to help people out with that. Travis Chapin is here. Ohio Gun Runner, hi to you. Robert Miller is here from Northwest Louisiana. And Scott from Florence, South Carolina is here. Thanks to everyone once again. GunCon was something that I wanted to mention. I knew there was something I wanted to get out at the beginning. I'll probably mention this once or twice more throughout the course of the show tonight. But GunCon is coming up. It's going to be in Cleveland, Ohio this year, of all places. So I hope it works out well, because at least it's going to be close for me. That's only about an hour drive for me to make it to downtown Cleveland. It's going to be on June 28th. So if anyone is in the area, I am planning on being there that day. I'll probably be there for the whole day. There are going to be a lot of firearms content creators there. There are also going to be a lot of folks there from the firearms industry that are going to have displays set up. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of the folks that I know that are going to be with those displays and shooting the breeze with them some. If you go to GunCon, you see me wandering around, definitely come up, say hi. I'm always happy to meet anyone that is familiar with the channel, familiar with the content, and wants to spend some time talking and introducing themselves. Like I said, by all means, do so. Cliff Bradley from Seminole, Florida, and Jim Kohler from, I guess that's Jessup, Georgia. Bill Darden from the Sunshine State. I can't even say sunshine. So hello again to everyone who's joined. Chris Ciampo is here from Florida. The content that I've got coming up, I started to talk about that a couple of minutes ago, is, I think, going to be pretty exciting. I've got a video scheduled for tomorrow morning, so everyone that's able to join for the premiere, definitely jump into the live chat. That's always a good time. And this is going to be a interesting video. It goes a little beyond something I've done in some similar videos in the past. It's along the same theme, and it doesn't get too outrageous or anything like that, but it's just a little bit more so than some of these that I've done. If you've seen the announcement for tomorrow's video, you already know it's going to be an optics review, and should be a good time. So I hope everyone can make it there for that. And I think I missed some people here. Camp David, if you see the SIG rep at GunCon, could you get the latest party line on the SIG 320? I just saw something on that within the last couple of days, and I don't know if it came out from SIG or who that came from. My M18 has been flawless. I don't remember a malfunction of any kind with that thing. Obviously, never gone off by itself. I've never had any issues with it. So I don't know. Somebody asked me about that a week or so ago, and I said at this point, I think it's hard to get really good information, because it seems like everyone is so entrenched one way or the other with their thoughts on the 320, that trying to get any sort of sensible information and then be able to get that out to anyone is going to be difficult as well. Again, one way or the other. Cliff Bradley started buying Tizosh 1911s because of you. My single and double stack 9mm turned out to be great. My Stingray in 45 was horrendous. Ooh, that's too bad. My 9mm Stingray has been fantastic. In fact, I have not had an issue with any of the Tizosh handguns that I've had, other than what you might have seen in a video. With my Raider, I ran that thing with no lube, no cleaning, no nothing for upwards of 1,000 rounds, and I finally had a couple of stoppages. I had one around 500 or 600 and another one somewhere along the way, but that was because I was testing, basically trying to see how long it would run before it would choke, and it took that much time. But otherwise, I've not had an issue with those handguns. I'm sorry to hear about that, but I am glad you got a refund. Sean Zimmerman, hey to you. SIG updated the manual for the 320. The new manual recommends you carry the chamber empty, or an empty chamber, and avoid dropping it. Well, I was not aware of that, but that's interesting. Jeff Tim could never understand why the U.S. Army chose two versions of the same pistol with only barrel and slide differences and additional or optional optics. When I read the request for proposals for the M17 project, there were two different ways that companies could go about it. One way was they could submit what was called a one pistol option, which meant that it had to be modular to the point that it could be reconfigured, or they could submit a two pistol option, which was more or less what SIG did. And the Army apparently, the Army went with the M17. They went with the full size. The Marine Corps and a couple of other branches went with the M18, which is the more compact version. But I think a lot of the answer to your question goes back to that original request for proposals. That's another word I'm trying. I'm just having a hard time talking all the way around tonight, so maybe I picked a bad night for this. Donald, hey, I'm getting into a 10mm handgun, internet shopping, because I haven't seen a lot of variety in local stores. Tizosh 1911 10mm is on the short list. Yeah, and I have no experience with the 10mm 1911 from them. I have a 10mm 1911. Mine is a Rock Island Armory. I've seen the Tizosh version. I've probably handled it, but trying to remember a specific handgun that I pulled off the shelf and looked at is kind of difficult sometimes. But I know I've never fired that one. So sorry, I can't help you out. HR, have you tried any Rock Island 1911s? Price looks reasonable. Yeah, I just mentioned it. my one and only Rock Island is a 10mm 1911. And there's a review on that. If you search my channel and put in Rock Island Armory 10mm 1911, I think it was actually the FS Ultra, if I remember correctly. There's still a review up from several years ago on that handgun. Nate Huxtable is here. Howdy to you. Sean Zimmerman, how's the Rock Island 10mm? It's great. It's been a while since I shot it, but I don't remember a malfunction of any kind ever with it. The accuracy is decent. It's a 1911, so it has all of the upsides of the 1911. So I cannot say anything negative about the Rock Island Armory 1911 that I own. Limp Bizkiteer, I have Rock Island double stack 10mm in 1911, and the grip is huge. Yeah, a double stack 10mm, even a double stack 45, they really are big, and because of the size of the ammunition, there's not really any way to make them smaller. Katie Cowboy, if you could own a World War II tank, which would you select? I'd love to buy about 100 acres and have a restored Tiger, although they did a breakdown. Oh, they did break down a lot in the field. You know what? I'm not much of a tank person. I can't really sit here and say that I would want this kind of tank or that kind of a tank because I'm just not that conversant in them. So I don't really have a good answer for that question. Revolver Man, what are your thoughts on the Model 10? I assume you're talking about the Model 10 Smith & Wesson. Recently purchased one in mint condition circa 1969. Great revolvers. Been around forever. The nice thing about the Model 10, is they are absolutely simplicity in form and function. You load up the cylinder, you've got the fixed sights, which consist of just the front sight and the groove in the top strap. You've got the beautiful Smith & Wesson double action trigger action. And they just work. They put bullets where you aim them. Most of the time, they are very, very accurate, at least with the ammunition they like. So I think if you picked one up for a good price, you are a fortunate person. Nate Huxtable just made spaghetti carbonara for supper. Good for you. Cliff Bradley, a Stingray 45 could not make it through one magazine without multiple failures. Slide locking back after every shot, failure to feed, failure to eject. That really surprises me. And I don't even have a guess as to what might have been causing all that. The slide locking back could have been the magazine, could have been the plunger spring tube. I have replaced a couple of plunger spring tubes on my Tizosh 1911s just to get a more positive function of the safety, but that could have been in there. And it could have been one of those handguns that just had multiple issues that all were causing their own different problem. Bill Doran, any feedback on the CZ Shadow 2 comp is drop safe or not? If I'm not mistaken, it has a firing pin block, so that should make it drop safe. I'm fairly certain that's the case. Hicks Nada, any news on the HK SFP 9cc release date for the US? Ray Helm. I have to keep stopping because the comments keep jumping up, and I have to try to keep up with them. Anyway, no, I don't have any news on the release date. I'm sorry. Len Philpott, planning to join the Brotherhood shortly for 1911 owners. My wife reminded me Father's Day is coming, so I'm striking while the iron's hot. Good for you. We'll order a Tizosh B45 soon. Good for you. Kenneth Garrett, have you had any chance to look over the new mountain gun? Just briefly at the SHOT Show. I looked at both the 44 Magnum and the 357 Magnum. I own one of the older 44 Magnums. It's right here beside me in the safe. I have wanted one of the 357 versions since the very brief time that Smith & Wesson released them back around 1999 or 2000. I think I saw one at a gun shop once. And for whatever reason, I didn't buy it that day, and I never saw another one after that. So I would love to get my hands on one of the now new Lipsey's 357 Magnum mountain guns. Cliff Bradley, they said the ejector was twice as strong as it needed to be, and that was it. Interesting. I would not have thought that would have caused the slide to lock open on its own, or to lock open with ammunition still inside. Dr. Nathan Excelsior III, hi to you. Nate Huxtable had a guy at the range with a gun that I think meant kept locking back. Showed him how to deviate his thumbs from one side. Yeah, there are a lot of malfunctions that are shooter induced. In fact, I produced a video or two talking about that before. If you're having an issue when you're shooting and you hand your firearm to somebody else and they shoot it and they don't have that problem, that's a good indicator that you are doing something that is causing that malfunction to occur. Three Jeep Discovery, if IWI made a PCC that used Masada mags, would you go for it? or stick with the M&P sub 2000 pair? Good question. I would probably, well, hmm. I don't think I would get rid of my Kel-Tec sub 2000s real soon. At the same time, I have been kind of waiting and watching to see if CAA is going to come out with one of their micro conversion kits that will fit a Masada. I think that would be kind of a cool combination. So I don't know. I like IWI products. If they came out with a PCC, I would probably be interested in at least trying it out. And then I guess we'd go from there. Who makes replacement grips for the Llama Max 1 LF 1911? I'm trying to remember what's different about the Max 1 grips as opposed to a standard 1911, and off the top of my head, I can't remember. I thought it took standard 1911 grips. Donald Hay, some shooter noticed a malfunction in a new, to me, Ruger SR9C. Multiple double feeds in my first trip. Didn't happen on the second trip after stripping and cleaning the gun. Yeah, that's nice when all it takes is a good cleaning, and that does away with whatever issue you're having. Katie Cowboy, did you see Honest Outlaw's review of the Bull Armory EDC SAS2? What is it with these names? Once upon a time we had firearms with names like Model 10 or Cobra or something. Now we get, just like I was talking about with the scopes a while ago, we get these names that are this long to get everything in there. Anyway, no, I did not see that. I saw something about that pistol that he mentioned in another video where he was talking about a group of different firearms, and he said that he really liked that one, but I did not see the dedicated review on that one. Corey Scheckler, have you shot the Ruger LC and 10 millimeter? Glad to finally make it to one of these chats. Well, I'm glad you made it too. And no, I haven't. I think the only Ruger LC carbine I've shot, actually, maybe I shot two of them. I think I shot one of them that was a 5.7, and seems like I shot another one that was either a 9 millimeter. I think that was the other one. Hicksnada, can you briefly compare the FN Reflex to the Masada Slim? I have a Reflex and haven't been impressed. The Slim looks very promising. The FN Reflex that I shot was the original, very small version, so it's not one of the more recent ones. It's a little bit larger. That pistol and I did not get along very well. When I reviewed it, I said at the end that it concerned me because the trigger breaks farther forward than I am used to, and it also had a very it was a very light trigger pull, and it was easy, I thought, to squeeze off a round when you didn't intend to. Especially if you're somebody like me and you shoot a whole bunch of different handguns all the time. If you just dedicated yourself to shooting that one handgun and got acclimated to that trigger, then you probably would be able to shoot it very, very well. I don't know. It bothered me a little bit. There was also an issue with those handguns early on with hitting low and to the left. And whenever you say that, instantly people go, well, that's the shooter, because when you're anticipating recoil and jerking the trigger and doing this for a right-handed shooter, you hit low and left, which is true, but I wasn't doing that. And I saw multiple other people that were having that same issue. There was something with those initial FN Reflex handguns that was causing them to hit low and to the left. I think FN has corrected that at this point. You ask about comparing that to the IWI Masada Slim. The Masada Slim just works better for me. And it's one of those situations where It's just a better fit. Everything just seems to be a little bit more to my preference, I guess. So that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a better handgun for you or anyone else. It just works better for me. If it tells you anything, the Masada Slim is the one that I have on my waistband right now, and the FN Reflex. After I finished that review, I took it back to Hop Armament, thanked them for letting me borrow it, and never really looked back. Craig Benz, have you reviewed any Turkish MP5 clones? Absolutely. My Mac 5 is a MP5 clone made in Turkey that I got earlier this year, and I absolutely love it. I've got multiple videos on that, so if you go back just a few months in the channel, you'll find videos that feature that. Travis Chapin, the Llama grip screws are spaced farther apart. I didn't know that. I wonder why they did that. The industry is running short of original names. I guess so. I suppose I could make the obvious recommendation with regard to those grips, which would be to try to contact Llama and see if you could get a replacement set directly from them, which I think is actually pronounced Yama, but everybody says Llama. Disastrous Effect has the 10mm LC carbine, likes it very much, so that's good. Maybe just name the new guns Frank and Murray. Bert and Ernie. Vehicle warning. What is your opinion on the Springfield Armory M1A in 308? I own two of them, if that tells you anything, and I like them both very, very much. I've got a M1A Super Match that I used for several years in competition, and I've also got a M1A Loaded that's in the Archangel stock, and I have the Leatherwood art scope attached to that one. That's kind of a faux M21 system. I like both of those very, very much. You can also see me shooting one if you go back and watch that video from the gathering that I went to a couple of months ago down in South Carolina. During that video, I shoot one when I was at the Springfield Armory display there. Mark Hankins, I'm not sure what VZ grips are made of. It's, what is it, that G10 material? It's a synthetic material, but yeah, it's very, very strong. Here we have the new High Point Darlene. Yeah, you know what's funny about that? High Point releasing an M16. For years and years and years, and I was just telling somebody about this the other day, people have been underwhelmed by High Point. In fact, they're kind of they've been the end of a lot of jokes, I guess, High Point. And also for years and years now, people have talked about the market being oversaturated with AR-15s, and we don't need this many, and why do we have so many builders, and blah 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 blah. So all of a sudden, High Point comes out with an AR-15, and everybody's like, "Well, it's the big thing at the NRA show." It's just amazing. It's a very fickle market out there. I would hate to be a manufacturer and have to try to guess what people are going to be interested in and want to purchase, because it just seems to change almost as the wind blows. Marvin Turner, I have an axe cleaver, and it's been a very good pistol. I've heard other people say very good things about those. Roy Venator, any thoughts on G-Force Blade 8? I don't know anything about it, sorry. Scott from South Carolina, suppressor wait times seem to have been reduced. That's what I keep hearing from people that purchase a lot of suppressors, that they're getting the paperwork back very, very quickly these days. Skip Boyer, have you thought about reviewing an HK VP9? I've thought about it. I've handled them. I'm trying to think where the most recent place. Oh, when I was at the gathering, I think I actually did shoot one there, now that I think about it, because they had one of those under display. But that's one of those things I just never seem to see around that I can get in for a review. I'd like to do one, just to be able to spend some time with it and see what I think of it. Cooper Brune, I have practically the same Remington 700 ADL build as you have. Have you thought about threading the barrel for use with the suppressor at all? Not really. Until suppressors become, or maybe I should put this a different way. Until they're removed from the NFA, I probably won't spend a lot of time getting suppressors because it just annoys me to have to purchase a suppressor and then jump through the hoops for the ATF and cough up another $200 just to be able to screw that thing on the end of your rifle and use it. So uh, if that ever happens, if they ever become something that I can just walk into the store and buy and take home with me, then maybe I'll think about getting some threaded barrels or having some of my barrels threaded, but probably not before that. And I saw a comment there someplace. Hello to you, John Jackson. I'm just kind of scrolling through the comments right now looking for something directed at me. Don Hay, PSA is running a screaming deal on Charles Daly PAK-9. Thoughts? Sorry, I have no experience with them. Can't say anything one way or the other. Had not been able to find anyone to make a replaceable grip for my llama in years. Seems like maybe a custom grip maker could do that. If all they have to do is drill the holes slightly farther apart or slightly differently, but I don't know what they would charge to do that. Disaster Effect, who recently released a PCC in 380 ACP? I saw something about that. Who was it? Was it PSA? Was it Palmetto State Armory? I don't. I do remember seeing something about that, but I don't remember who it was. Limp Biscuiteer, Tizosh released the Gen 2 of their 1911 double stack pistols that look nice too. They have bull barrels, better slide serrations, and are $50 cheaper. Yeah, I think they also went to a full length guide rod on all of those, which is something I like better about the older ones. I've got one of the older ones that I'm not a full length guide rod person. They annoy me because I can't disassemble the pistol the way I've disassembled every 1911 for my entire life. And I really don't think they do anything for me in terms of any kind of added performance. So that I'll stick, I guess, with the older one for now. Craig Ben's got a new CZ75B in February. Still can't get over how well it shoots. The CZ75, and I've got a CZ75B as well, is just a nice shooting handgun. I'm sure all the race gun versions of the CZ75 are just fabulous to shoot, but the original is so nice for a service pistol. I always enjoy shooting that. I always enjoy shooting my P01 or yeah, P01 that I have. Another great handgun. I would like to get one of the P09 Nocturnes to compare to the original CZ75 and the P01. I think that would make a really interesting comparison, but that's another one of those that I just have not been able to find yet. And it seems like everybody on YouTube, other than me, has been able to find them, and I just have not. Manuel Guzman, well, I hope the allergy season is short for you. And happy Tuesday to you. Skip Boyer, you did it for an SBR. Well, for two reasons. One, I already had that. Two, I was able to do it without spending the extra $200. So I did jump through the hoops to fill out the paperwork, but that was why. That's also the reason I don't have more SBRs. Just looked it up. Llama went out of business in two. Uh, yeah, but they have also risen from their own ashes like the phoenix. The original Llama or Yama company went out of business. They've been purchased once or twice. There are still firearms being made under that brand name. The last I knew, they were being made in the Philippines because I had one that I tested. When would that have been? 2018 or so. I'd have to go back and look. But I think there are still firearms being made under that brand name. Whether or not they have access to any parts for the older handguns, I don't know. Alan Paul Trigo, Semper Fi to you. Could have been PSA and you laughed. Yeah, I wondered about that. I think that's why I didn't really pay that much attention to it because I thought, a 380 PCC. I don't know. It just seemed kind of weird. Nate Huxtable, I'll send you my VP9 if you want. It's modified little night vision sights. I really, really, really appreciate that. Thank you, Nate. That is an extremely generous offer. I'm always leery about having people send me firearms, and I worry even when I borrow them from Hop Armament because I'm afraid something's going to happen to them. They're going to get damaged. They're going to get stolen. So I tend to. There's only about one person that I borrow firearms from, and usually I meet him face to face. He drops it off. When I'm done with it, I return it to him. Ohio Gun Runner did very kindly leave me a firearm one time at Hop Armament, which I was able to bring home for a review. But even then, I was just nervous as can be that something bad might happen to somebody else's firearm. So thanks again, Nate, but I think I'll pass. Sooner or later, I'll come up with a VP9 that I can use for a review. Dallas Osborne picked up a Daria 92 clone. Yeah, I reviewed one of those not all that long ago. I'm not sure if that was earlier this year or late last year, but I thought it was a fantastic handgun. And at the time, it was being imported by Rock Island Armory. And when I saw the folks at Rock Island Armory at the SHOT Show in February, I asked him about that. And the guy that I talked to seemed like he wasn't real happy that I asked him about that handgun. And he gave me kind of a curt reply and said that they weren't carrying that anymore. So I don't know if there was some sort of bad breakup there or what happened, but Daria is going to be at the GunCon that I was talking about earlier. So I'm kind of hoping to talk to them there and maybe see some of the other firearms in their line. I know they've got a Poly Striker handgun. In fact, there's one of those at Hop Armament. I thought about trying to bring that home when I was there the other day. And if it's still there when I go back, maybe I'll bring it home the next time, which looked like a decent firearm. Probably the only thing I saw that it was lacking was optic mounting capability, but otherwise it looked like pretty decent firearm. So maybe if that's still there, I will bring that home next time around. So watch for a review on that coming up soon. Katie Cowboy, anyone ever try Ultimate grips? I've got one or two Ultimate grips around here, and they're pretty good. They have some very nice looking grips for various firearms. CZ's point very well in shooting. Hold on just a second here, folks. I want to check something. Okay. I thought maybe one of you had sent me an email wanting to join the show, which, by the way, if you want to join the show, All you have to do is shoot me an email, hrfunksmail@gmail.com. I'll send you a link to the show and you can join and we can actually have a conversation with a split screen view here. Just remember, everybody will be able to see you, so keep that in mind. Just that everybody will be able to see you. I saw a question on here. Oh, there it is. Corey Scheckler, what is your favorite LPVO? I don't know that I have a favorite. LPVOs have been something that I've spent quite a bit of time with here the last year or so. In fact, I've got another one in for a review right now. I just got an email that there's going to be another one on its way to me. I don't know if I've found a favorite yet. The one that I thought was going to be my favorite was the last Discovery scope that I tested, and one of the things I really liked was it was parallax adjustable, and it just didn't quite live up to my expectations. It's not really a bad optic. I could never say that. I think what happens is, as optics makers try to add more and more magnification to the LPVOs, it becomes a series of trade-offs in image quality at the high magnification levels, as opposed to losing some of the true one power magnification, which is actually no magnification, at the low end. I don't know. It seems like maybe the technology or the design hasn't quite been perfected yet. So I don't think I can give you a favorite LPVO at this time. But there is going to be more information coming up on those soon. So keep an eye out for the announcements on the channel when they come up. Limp Biscuiteer, have you shot your Mac 1014 since your last video on it? How's it holding up? Yeah, as a matter of fact, I just shot it. Was that last week? I think just about a week ago, because I added a magazine extension tube to it. So I wanted to go out and test fire it after that, and it's still running just fine. Kyle Jackson, glad you made it. Now we drop everything and what? Don't get in trouble at work. But thanks for joining. And again, I'm zooming down through the comments here, looking for one directed at me. Greg Benz, last time I went to the website for Harrod stocks, it was down. Are they out of business? I don't know. They've been around forever, but I have not heard anything about them recently. Douglas Swineford, I've enjoyed your videos for some time. Good content. Thank you. Thank you very much. Mark Hankins, HR, are you still considering SC for PCS? My wife is. She is originally from Columbia, South Carolina, and she would move there tomorrow if the circumstances would permit. Cliff Bradley, thanks for joining us. Have a great night. John Alexander, what's your opinion on the current Colt 1911? Seems like they're doing better than a few years ago. The most recent one I have is my competition model that I purchased maybe 2 years ago. Has it been that long already? And that's been a great pistol. It's very accurate, good shooting handgun. The only little fly in the ointment with that handgun is the safety could have been fit a little bit better, but not bad. The ones that I've looked at the SHOT Show and the NRA show more recently seem to be good handguns. So I'm hoping this merger between Colt and CZ has been beneficial both ways. I haven't heard anything bad about Colt 1911s lately, so if I get a newer one that I can take a look at and do some testing with, you'll see it on the channel. And wow, am I caught up? I think I am. How about that? And what do we got? I think there were 60 people in here with at the high water mark when I looked a little while ago. We're down to 58 now. But thanks again to everyone who's joining. I'll remind everyone again what I mentioned at the very beginning of the show, in case you weren't here, that GunCon is coming up on June the 28th. It's going to be in Cleveland, Ohio this year. I am planning on being there. I think it goes from 9 in the morning. My doors might open at 10 in the morning till something like 4 or 5 in the afternoon. So if you can make it to Cleveland, Ohio on June the 28th, I'm going to be there. There's going to be a lot of content creators there. So for more information, you can go to guncon.net. That it's not .com, guncon.net, and get information there about the location and ticket prices and all that good stuff. And somebody else sent me an email. Let me see what we got here. Yep. Thank you, Thomas. You are most welcome. Scott from South Carolina, are you getting tired of gloomy Cleveland weather? Other than the 4 years I was in the Marine Corps, I've gone through 50. Well, what are we coming up on now? 54 gloomy Cleveland winters. So I guess I've kind of gotten used to it at this point. Actually, it's the gloomy springs I think that bother me more because, like I said, the last week or so it's just been dark and cold and raining and pretty nasty around here. Len Philpott, as mentioned earlier, I'm looking at the Tizosh Duty B45. Although it'll be mostly a range toy, I'm curious, has anyone had any issues with jacketed hollow points? My Raider is a little finicky on jacketed hollow points, so you might have to try a couple of them just to see what it's going to run. Running FMJs, you should be fine. Wow, Douglas Swineford, thank you very much. Just made two $20 donations to the channel. I really appreciate that. As I mentioned earlier, YouTube has been demonetizing basically everything I've uploaded recently. So those donations are fantastic. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And a special thanks to my channel members too for that monthly donation that you all make. Those are the things that allow me to keep getting ammunition and getting equipment and all those types of things to be able to continue making the videos. So thanks to everyone, and a special thanks to you, Doug, for those two donations. Greg Shearer, can you make some remarks on the 32 H&R Magnum in addition to your recent videos? The first thing I'll say is that little revolver, I really like that thing. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and buy it. It was sent to me by Lipsy's for the review, and I've got the option to purchase it. And when I first got it, I thought, well, I'm going to see what I think of this thing, and I'm going to go ahead and just buy the thing. It's become my firearm that I use when I take Chewy for a walk because I go walking by a lot of wooded areas. And I figure the 32 H&R Magnum, especially with that Lost River ammo that you saw in the video, I think that'll be fine for anything that comes wandering out of the woods that might need to be dispatched, whether it's a sick animal or some other sick threat. But fantastic little firearm. BHK 777 just made a $10 donation. Thank you to you as well. Again, the donations are just phenomenal, guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you very much. With regard to the cartridge, one of the things I like about that revolver is the fact that it is a lighter recoiling cartridge than the 38 Special version of that very lightweight titanium revolver that I've had for years. I like the sights on the revolver. That big glowing high visibility front sight on there is fantastic. So it's another feather in the cap for the revolver itself. And I've been enjoying the cartridge. So like I said, I don't know how much more I can go into about it, but I like the cartridge. I like the revolver. I think they're a good combination. A lot of people questioned why Smith & Wesson / Lipsy's didn't go with the 327 Federal, and I think a lot of it was just to keep that recoil down. And I think they did a good job. I think it works out well. And I saw somebody that was bowing out. I wanted to be sure to say bye. Where was it? Well, maybe I didn't. I thought somebody was leaving. Kyle Jackson just made a $50 donation. Thank you. Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is overwhelming, guys. Thank you so much. Nate Huxtable, you're the only channel I donate to anymore. Thank you. Thanks, Nate. Again, that support is just fabulous. Oh, there it is. BHK 777. Thank you for joining. Thanks for the donation. Have a great evening. Hope to see you in the future. Thank you. Bill 1717 just got the notice. Sorry about that. I put up a short announcing that we're going to be doing a live stream this evening. I put that up about 1 o'clock this afternoon, my time. I was hoping that would get out to some of you and you'd be able to see it. But YouTube, trying to rely on them for anything is always a mixed bag. Travis Chapin, I know you've been a long time viewer. I remember seeing your name for a long, long time. Thank you. Thank you for all the support. Skip, are you quoting a song from the 1970s there, if you want to be happy for the rest of your life? There was some crazy song about a witch. I can't remember the lyrics anymore, but I know that was in there. Something about if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, then you better make her your wife or something. Something about another man done gone. It's coming back to me in pieces from my my childhood back in the 70s. What are we up to here, folks? Wow. We've been at this for 52 minutes. I'm probably going to wrap things up right around the 1 hour mark. So we got about 7.5 minutes left, or a little less than that. So any last minute questions, comments, anything anyone wants to throw out for the good of the order, be sure to do so. This has been fantastic, as always. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I was really looking forward to seeing everyone, well, or at least conversing with everyone and having a good time this evening. So thanks to all for joining. Special thanks again to everyone who made those donations. Voodoo Woman, was that it? I don't think that's right. Something, Marie LeBeau? And there was one part in the song where they would scream and say, "Another man done gone." Oh, man. Like I said, it's coming back to me in little chunks. Len Philpott, thanks for the practical advice. Your channel is welcome alternative to many of the tactical, saturated others. Well done, factual, interesting to watch. Thank you. Thank you very much. I try, the thing I like to think about with my channel, I try to be authentic. You know, when I'm presenting something, you're seeing and hearing my actual thoughts, my actual presentation. I've tried to improve my presentation over the years, but it's still authentically me. It's what you're seeing on there and my true thoughts and impressions of whatever it is that I'm discussing. Jeff Tim, did you test 32 wad cutters in your revolver? Yes, I did. The 100 grade full wad cutter, and then there was a 130 grain semi wad cutter, which was my video from last Saturday. Bill 1717, yes, there is a video tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Eastern Daylight Savings Time. We'll kick things off, and it's a 20 or 22 minute video, something like that. Greg Shearer, got to go feed the cats. Definitely don't keep them waiting. You don't want them making a lot of noise and carrying on in the background. So thanks for joining, Greg. Travis Chapin, my wife is playing that song you mentioned above by Jimmy Soul from the 60s. Oh, it's from the 60s. I thought it was from the 70s. Jeff Tim, you're mixing up two songs. Maybe I am mixing up two songs. Craig Benz, wasn't that a swamp woman? That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it was like a witch in a swamp or something like that. Three Jeep Discovery. Okay, Marie Laveau. That's what I was thinking. She was an actual person. The song was not. What? Hmm. Nate Huxtable, the reason I don't donate to other channels, sadly, most are turned into shills or are so big they focus on holy grail guns. I'd rather support someone more like myself. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Travis Chapin, full wad cutters for defense, yes or no? The ones that I tested in that video are probably going to completely penetrate a person, depending upon the angle and the size of the person and their build and all that kind of thing. So you're going to get that through and through penetration. If over penetration is a concern, then you might not be too crazy about that. But as far as actually, you're going to get a 32 caliber hole basically all the way through that individual. So so much of that goes to your philosophy, your thoughts, your concern on over penetration, and all that. HR definitely a tack driver. Some days more so than others. Rare Bear, Marion, Ohio, since Saturday, 3.5 inches in the rain gauge. Yeah, I know it's been raining like crazy around here. And you might have gotten more of it down there than we're getting up here. Disastrous Effect, Bobby Bear recorded it. Kyle Jackson, I love the 80s songs. Yeah, I tell people, and my son, believe it or not, is a throwback to 80s music. He likes it about as well as I do. But I always say the best music ever recorded for a decade. Now, there were good songs in the 50s, good songs in the 60s, but I think if you look at an entire decade of music, the 1980s has the best music ever recorded for an entire decade. Craig Benz, rewatch the Dirty Harry movies. All the revolvers of the bad guy are Colts. Is that right? I don't think I ever noticed that. Bill 1717, that's fine. Take care of your wife. She definitely needs you more than I do here. Bobby Bear sings Marie Laveau. Now I'm gonna have to look that up. See if I can find it on YouTube. All right, gang, we're coming down to the last minute here. So I'm going to start to wrap things up. Thank you to everyone for joining this evening. I hope it's not such a long time until the next time we can get together for this, because I do so enjoy these. Tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard or Eastern Daylight Savings Time, we've got the premiere video for Wednesday. Hopefully there's going to be a video on Saturday if the weather cooperates, the creek doesn't rise too much and all that type of thing. Will I am, I'm sorry. We've been at this for about an hour. But to everyone who made a donation this evening, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And to my channel members for that monthly donation, thank you again. Like I said, YouTube has been on a tear lately and demonetizing everything. So it's just fabulous that you all support me in the way that you do and allow me to keep producing these videos that I hope continue to be informative and entertaining for you. That's going to do it for this evening. I appreciate everyone who joined in. Thanks to everyone who joins in the live chat during the live stream and the live chat during the premiere videos. I hope to see you all tomorrow. And until that time, everyone, good shooting and bye-bye for now.